thank you everyone and welcome. As innovative as you can be, technology always manages to be a challenge. and we apologize about the parking. We were informed today that even the Secretary of Treasury had to pay for parking here at Georgetown. So if you can see us afterwards and give us your receipts, we're gonna do our best to take care of that. We're excited to welcome you here tonight. Before we start, we'd like to tell you a story.
It was the summer before my freshman year at college, and I had spent 3 months in El Salvador. I was working with a group of fair trade farmers on a fair trade tea farm. It was a fantastic experience, and these fair trade farmers were just the best people in the world. But they were impoverished, and I saw a potential in this community if they could sell their tea product to provide resources in abundance for this community that was impoverished. So when I came to Georgetown University, I thought, I'm going to make this work. And I found a way, or I thought I found a way, to connect students with this product that people made in El Salvador. And so, I started a New Leaf, a fair trade tea company for college students.
I came into college from a rural town in Northern California, and naturally arriving to a metropolitan area like this, I became passionate about the farmers market because there's such a sense of community there. I began to talk to the local family farmers, and I found that they were really struggling to compete with corporate farms. They also were part of this local food movement, which was exciting. It was the idea of taking products from local sources with environmental benefits and health benefits, these nutritious, tasty products. And I discovered that there might be a need at Georgetown for a healthy, affordable, fresh fruit delivery service. So I started Mission 3, which was a farmers market delivery service.
So my name is Neil Shaw, and 3 years ago, I was a CEO and founder of a social business.
My name is Arthur Woods, and 3 years ago, I was the CEO and founder of a social business.
I was so passionate about my idea. Every morning I would wake up. My friends remember, I was really annoying. I would only talk about fair trade tea farming. I was like, this is gonna take over the world. I thought it was incredible. Anyone who would listen heard my idea for a fair trade tea farm. I was so passionate, and I really thought this is what I was gonna do for the rest of my life.
It was pretty exciting working with local family farmers. Before I knew it, there was a truck of fresh fruit being delivered from Shippensburg, Pennsylvania, and had our names on it. And we were delivering these products to students. And I was just on cloud nine. I was working with my friends, and we were literally bringing bags of products to students every Wednesday night.
Unfortunately, passion and idealism only get you so far. And I realized this because we started to face struggle after struggle. Shipments wouldn't come in on time, our website wasn't working, we couldn't figure out the legal incorporation status of a 501c3 organization. We really had no idea what we were doing. In October of my sophomore year, my passion, my fair trade tea business, ended up becoming a failure.
One of the great things about Georgetown is that a lot of students get the chance to go abroad, and I was one of those students. I wanted to go to Chile. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to hand Mission 3 down to some of my friends, and it's going to work out. But the day that I arrived to Chile, I got an alarming email from someone that said, I hereby tender my resignation to Mission 3. And in that moment, I realized that I was the most passionate person about that idea. I was the most passionate person about the impact that it was making, and I was the only person who really believed that it was going to go to 1 million schools in the nation. So I had the realization that I wasn't part of a support community around social entrepreneurship. It didn't exist.
I was devastated because this was my idea. This was my baby. And so I met Arthur one night, and I told him my story, and I explained to him what happened to me. And I was so confused, and we commiserated, and we talked about it. What happened? What went wrong with our social businesses?
We really thought that we had everything. We thought that with the passion, the motivation, and a few friends, we could make a business take flight. But we realized that we were missing some very basic resources. And more than anything, we were missing a support community.
And so out of that conversation came our new vision for a new organization. And that idea was a group of students who could connect resources and abilities to students who had passion and ideas and could make this into a real force for making change in the world.
And that transformed to Compass Partners, an organization dedicated to inspiring, enabling, and sustaining a student-led community of social entrepreneurs.
We built our philosophy off of our own experience. We wanted to make it so that no one had to go through the incredible, devastating hardship that we had to go through. And so what we did is we came up with a philosophy built on our experience. The first pillar of our philosophy is the idea that all business can and should be social. Businesses have a responsibility not only to be financially sustainable, but to be socially beneficial as well.
The second was that, look, if you can't manage your own life, you can't manage a business. So we wanted a huge element of Compass to be about the personal growth of every person involved, so that everyone would learn something about themselves through the process.
As Arthur mentioned, both of us ran into problems with finding a support community. So when we started this program, we decided that it was going to be based around the idea of community. We wanted to make sure that every student was connected to one another, but also they were connected to people outside in the community, outside businesses, and outside mentors.
And finally, we wanted this to be about experiential learning. Instead of just talking about business, we wanted people to be starting their businesses. We wanted them to learn by doing.
And so we started our program, and we talked about this idea. And to our surprise, people came from everywhere with their ideas to us. They told us about tons of social business ideas they had. A bike rental company, a theater company that would provide resources to the community that they were in. There were tons of ideas that students had. And so we started a business incubator. There were over 18 student-run businesses that we incubated in the last year at Georgetown.
And at the heart of our program was the Compass Fellowship, a program dedicated to taking 15 dynamic freshmen who had a passion to do something and to unite them, to bring them together, to give them resources, to give them mentorship, and to enable them to become social entrepreneurs in 1 year.
And so that's why we're all here today. We're here to celebrate the graduation of the first class of Compass Fellows. We are so lucky to see our philosophy made manifest in our program. We have had an incredible college experience, and we've gotten to see students from all grades grow and develop themselves and their ideas into social businesses.
We're excited to have you guys here tonight. We have a nice lineup. We have the inspirational words of Andy Shalal. We'll be taking a chance to explain a little bit more about how our program works, and finally, you'll get to hear from the fellows themselves to see what they're creating.
And so, as our presentation said, we hope you leave today inspired that the world is in good hands.